So if you're learning Spanish, I'm willing to bet you've hit a wall, and that wall is called grammatical gender. It can feel so confusing, totally random, and honestly, maybe even a little bit pointless. But what if I told you there's a simple key to unlocking the whole thing? In the next few minutes, we are going to completely demystify this for you, for good.
Yeah, it all starts with that feeling of just complete confusion. You learn a new word, you think you've got it down, and then the grammar throws this massive curveball that seems to make absolutely no sense. Trust me, it's a universal feeling for Spanish learners, and it usually starts with one very specific, very classic example.
And there it is, the one that drives everyone crazy. A necktie, una corbata, something typically worn by men, is a feminine noun. But a dress, el vestido, typically worn by women, is masculine. If you've ever just thrown your hands up in frustration at this, you are so not alone. But here's the secret. What if we've been thinking about it all wrong? Okay, this is the single most important mindset shift you need to make right now. We have to completely disconnect the idea of biological sex from grammatical gender. They are not the same thing, not even close. So what is grammatical gender then? Well, at its core, it's just a sorting system. That's it. Imagine you've got two big boxes. Every single noun in the Spanish language has to go into either the masculine box or the feminine box. That label is purely for organizing the grammar. It has nothing to do with the real-world qualities of the thing itself. And here's a fantastic way to think about it that you should never forget. Don't think of gender as some random rule designed to confuse you. Instead, think of it as the grammatical glue of a sentence. It's the system that makes sure all the other words stick together correctly and agree with each other. And that's exactly why it's so important. A noun's gender kicks off this chain reaction, this domino effect that changes everything around it in the sentence. Let's see exactly how this plays out. Okay, the very first domino to fall is the article, the words for the and a. So if a noun is masculine, like el libro, the book, you have to use el or un. If it's feminine, like la mesa, the table, you've got to use la or una. They have to match every single time. The next domino is the adjective, and this one is huge. The adjective has to, as they say, wear the same shirt as the noun it's describing. So if we talk about our masculine book being red, we say un libro rojo with that O at the end. But if our feminine table is red, it becomes una mesa roja with an A. Getting this right is absolutely fundamental to sounding natural. And the final domino is the pronoun. When you replace the noun with the word it, that little pronoun also has to match. So to say I see it when you're talking about the masculine book, you'd say lo veo. But to talk about seeing the feminine table, you say la veo. See how it all connects? This is how gender creates clarity and helps the whole sentence flow. Okay, so it's a system, and it affects pretty much everything. Now, that might sound a little intimidating, but here's the great news. It is not random. Not at all. There are very clear and very predictable patterns you can learn. Get this, the main rules for figuring out a noun's gender are about 90% reliable. That's huge. This isn't some random guessing game. It's a code, and once you know the basic patterns, you can crack it. The vast majority of words follow just a few simple rules. So what are the patterns for masculine nouns? Well, the biggest rule of them all is that words ending in O are almost always masculine. Easy enough, right? Beyond that, you can rely on other clues. Days of the week, months, and colors are usually masculine, and so are words with those common endings, like ahe and or. And on the feminine side, that a ending is your #1 indicator. But check out these other really powerful endings. Sion, dad. I mean, if you see a word ending in one of those, you can be super confident that it's feminine. Of course, no language rule is complete without a few exceptions. But I want you to stop thinking of these as annoying obstacles. Instead, think of them as a small, finite list of famous rule breakers that you just need to get to know. And here are the most common culprits. First, you've got to watch out for masculine words that look feminine because they end in a, like el día or el mapa. Then you've got the reverse, feminine words that look masculine ending in o, like la mano or la foto. And finally, this is a really important one. Words of Greek origin ending in ma, like el problema, are almost always masculine. These are totally worth memorizing from the get-go.
All right, we understand the concept, and we know the patterns. So how do we actually make this stuff stick in our brains? Let's walk through a simple 4-step learning playbook. The key here is to learn smarter, not harder. Step 1, and this is by far the most important. Always learn the article with the noun. Don't just learn casa, learn la casa. Second, when you learn new vocab, group the words by their ending patterns. Third, hey, if you're ever totally stuck in a conversation, guessing masculine is statistically a slightly better bet. And finally, step 4, always focus on the big picture, which is making everything in your sentence agree. This right here is the single most effective habit you can possibly build. I mean it. From this day forward, learn la casa as one single unit of information. When you do this, you hardwire the gender correctly from day 1, and you'll never have to second-guess yourself again. It's a game changer. And let's just bring it back to the big picture for a second. This isn't about passing a vocabulary quiz. The whole reason we care about gender is so we can build correct, natural-sounding sentences where all the pieces, the articles, the adjectives, the pronouns, are all working together in perfect harmony. That's the real sign of fluency. And this leads us to the final piece of advice. Stop fighting it. Seriously, stop trying to make it logical. Just accept it as a feature of the language's grammar. Be patient with yourself. After you've learned maybe 50 to 100 nouns the right way, with their articles, your brain will start to develop an instinct for it. It just starts to feel right. You just have to trust the process. So, I'll leave you with this thought. After everything we've looked at, it's pretty clear that understanding grammatical gender isn't just another rule to memorize. It really is the grammatical key that unlocks Spanish fluency, the thing that lets you build sentences with confidence and clarity. If you can master this, you are well on your way.